Hi, Nick here with MedTech World. We've got Kenneth Nelson here. He is a venture capitalist and it's with partner at MedTech Advantage Fund, right?
That's right.
Great. And at the conference today, I guess a lot of people have been very eager to talk to you, Ken, right?
It's been a great couple days. Moderated 3 panels yesterday, so it's a fun, productive day. And then about to do another panel, and then judge the pitch competition. So it's been a lot of fun.
How do you feel about that? I guess it's you didn't start your career giving panels. You had to earn a reputation. You earned it in entrepreneurship in the medtech space.
Yeah, so I started out my career in the implantable cardiac device space with a company called Guidant, which became Boston Scientific. They got acquired. Did that for about 10 years, and then the next 10 years built the teams, the cultures, the infrastructures for what have become 3 of the 4 biggest players in cardiac digital health and remote patient monitoring. And I helped launch all of their disruptive patch monitoring products. So the first was iRhythm. iRhythm eventually went public. The second was a company called CardioNet, which became BioTelemetry, and they got acquired by Philips for $2.8 billion. And then, I had my father-in-law died unexpectedly of sudden cardiac death, which was kind of a motivator for me to get back in the space and disrupt it a third time with Dr. Gus Barty with Barty Diagnostics. So we came into the space again in that cardiac patch monitoring space, and 3 years later sold that company to Hillrom for $375 million. So it's been a fun run and great group of people that helped build these companies and commercialize these companies, and it's now a multi-billion-dollar market. So it's been fun.
Addictive?
I'm sorry?
Is it addictive to get back in the game after winning,
It's funny. After each time when I said, hey, I think I'm going to go do this with this other company, everyone said, you're crazy. Why would you go compete against this team and culture that you just built and all these people you recruited? And each time it was such a disruptive technology that I felt the most important thing is advancing patient care and getting that technology out there. So raising awareness, driving adoption of it. And every time I would go to my wife and say, I'm only going to do this if you're okay with it, because what happens. I kind of forget how difficult it is, and you get kind of sucked into the vortex of a startup, and they become your family, like your work family. And I think there is that kind of addictive quality to it. And so they asked the question on one of the panels yesterday, like, there's a bunch of us on stage who were former people in the startup world who are now investors, and they said, would you go back into the startup world? And I said, yeah, I think there's a couple technologies I'm involved with and on the boards of that I'm so passionate about, even though I didn't originally think I'd go back and do that I'm excited enough about it to go back and do that.
Cool.
So it may happen.
Brilliant. Of those, you can mention them if you like. Can you tell me a little bit about the portfolio of your fund?
Yeah, sure. So the fund, it's the MedTech Advantage Fund, and it's going to be investing exclusively in MedTech Innovator alumni companies. MedTech Innovator is the largest medical device and digital health startup accelerator globally. We have close to 2,000 startups a year that try to get in, pick a couple hundred to pitch, and then about 100 companies to go through 3 different accelerators that are tied to MedTech Innovator. It's MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific, and then there's the BioTools Innovator. So 3 different accelerator groups. And if you look historically, it's been about 11 years, over 600 alumni companies, over 40 exits already. And so we decided to start a venture fund to invest only in alumni companies of MedTech Innovator. So there's that, and then personally, I'm an angel investor as well. So I do some angel investing all in MedTech and digital health. Involved in a couple different accelerators, Health Wildcatters in Dallas, as a mentor, and I invest in the funds. Company Ventures out of New York City and Grand Central Tech, I invest in their funds. And then stuff that I get really excited about, and a couple of companies I've joined the boards of, I've also invested in. So Heartbeam is a board that I'm on. It's a public company. CardiaCare out of Israel, which is a watch that treats atrial fibrillation, so really disruptive. Happy Tech out of Amsterdam, Bloom Life out of San Francisco, and then I'm very likely going to be involved with a company called Smart Cardiac out of Lausanne, Switzerland. It's a real-time vital signs patch. So some really cool cardiac innovation.
Great. Setting up these incubators, these accelerators. I guess what specifically did you really look for when you're building the team? Is this mainly about people really who are helping, right?
Agree 100%. And so, one of the things Giovanni and I talk about all the time is that magic ingredient in companies, at least from my perspective and Giovanni's perspective, is people and culture. So I feel like it could be the best technology in the world, and without the right people and culture, it'll never work. But if you have the right people leading the company, the right why behind what they're doing, and have a great story behind it, and build that right culture, the things that you're able to accomplish are really incredible. And I do feel it comes down to people and culture, and people being really passionate about what they're doing, but also having that perseverance to get through the ups and downs of a startup. So a lot of people at the conference here, kind of fun to see how they've progressed over time, and you can almost tell the ones that are going to make it based on their level to persevere through the ups and downs, and seeing them at all these conferences. And honestly, you look at what they're doing with this conference, and it's kind of a startup in itself. I think they started this maybe a year ago and then built on it. And what they've done is really incredible. If you look at this venue here, if you look at the hallway and how many people are here, and then downstairs, it's a whole separate venue down there, an unbelievable place, very motivational, inspirational place to have a conference. And the fact that they've gotten people from around the world to travel around the world really says something about Dylan and Giovanni and their teams to get this group of people together.
Well, it's stronger because you've come, Ken. Thanks very much for being part of it.
Of course.
You're awesome.